If you've known me very long, you have heard me say there are some sick people in this world, stupid too. Today, the real story is about two sisters who, in my opinion, check both boxes, sick and stupid. Let's look at some headlines. Quote, sisters who trash Charlie Kirk Memorial beg for cash to pay for legal bills after losing jobs. Another one. Quote, sisters who trash Charlie Kirk Memorial now whining they're jobless as they beg for cash online. Well, when you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences. Now, these sisters have launched a GoFundMe after the Charlie Kirk Memorial vandalism claim they are being harassed, fired. Well, there you go. So I'm going to go out and be as hateful as I can be. I'm not going to let people go grieve the way they want to do. If I don't agree with it, then I can say what I want to say, yell it as loud as I want to yell it. But when you go from speech to behavior, your protections go away, and that becomes criminal. Here's what happened. Carrie and Kaylee, 23 and 22, went to a Charlie Kirk memorial and trashed it. Not quietly, not in passing. They were filmed doing it, taunting the camera like it was some kind of performance art. They walked right up to the Benton County Courthouse steps where people had laid candles, flowers, and notes as a memorial to Charlie Kirk. Carrie ripped up the signs, so that's not speech, understand? Now you're destroying property. That's behavior. That's conduct. That's not protected by free speech. Again, they've gone from speech to conduct now. They yelled, Charlie Kirk lived as he died promoting violence. They can say that. No problem with that. I don't agree with it. I have to be honest here. Charlie Kirk was a friend of mine. I knew him, and I think he had a gentle heart. He didn't always agree with what people said. He had strong views, and he wasn't bashful about saying them, but I certainly disagree that he promoted violence. But they have a right to say that. People have a right to say what they want to say. As long as you're not inciting violence or defaming someone, you can't lie. They flipped off the camera with both hands, and they sneered, record all you want.
Record all you want.
Well, people did record it, and the world saw exactly who they are. They screamed, F Charlie Kirk.
F Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk.
That may be offensive to your sensibilities and mine. Timing may have been poor. Could have been tasteless in your view. But they have the right to say that. And these people paid the price. First, they were arrested. Then they lost their jobs, which is also the right of the people that are employing them. The First Amendment doesn't mean that they have to be employed when they say what they say. The First Amendment says that Congress will pass no law. You're guaranteed free speech. As to the government, but in the private sector, that doesn't mean that your employer has to allow you to spew hate and say vile things to the camera and conduct yourself in a way that reflects on them in a way they don't ascribe to and continue to pay you to represent them. You have no guarantees of that. You can say what you want to say, but when you choose to say those things, you have to be prepared for the consequences that come with that. And when you behave the way they did in destroying property and vandalizing property, then that's behavior that has consequences as well. So they lost their jobs. One got booted out of her boyfriend's house. He's not Congress. He doesn't have to extend any protections. And here's the kicker. Now they're online begging strangers to send them money. They're not begging for forgiveness. They're begging for money. These two refuse to accept that actions have consequences or that words have consequences. They have the right to say them, but they also have the consequences that come with them. And those consequences have consequences. After being arrested, Carrie's bond was set at $15,000. Kaylee's at $7,500. Carrie was fired from her job at a restaurant, and the restaurant put out a statement saying flat out, her choices don't represent us. They said, we don't want somebody that goes out and spews that kind of hatred and shows that kind of judgment representing us because it doesn't reflect who we are. That's their right. After Kaylee's boyfriend dumped her, his mom kicked her out of the house, saying she would not shelter someone who destroyed a memorial. She was saying, I don't want to be associated with that. But instead of facing it, instead of apologizing, what did these two do? They set up a GoFundMe titled Fight Against Fascism, claiming they've been harassed and doxxed, calling it a violation of their First Amendment rights. No, like I said, stop right there. First Amendment doesn't guarantee you a job, it doesn't guarantee you housing, and it doesn't guarantee you a cash bailout after you get stupid on camera. Now, let's be real. You may not think that's stupid. You may think they were courageous. You have the right to do that, just like I have the right to say I think it's stupid. They disagree with Charlie Kirk's politics. Okay, I get it. That's fine. This is about two, I think, people behaving idiotically who trashed a memorial and then went online to beg for money. I think they don't deserve a penny. Just my opinion. You may disagree with me. A memorial is sacred. It's where people mourn. When you kick over candles, you're not making a statement. You are behaving. You've gone from speech to conduct, and you're also disrespecting other people's grief. That's why people are disgusted. That's why this went viral, because everyone feels and understands loss. Well, not everyone. Some people do. Most people understand that mocking someone else's pain is one of the lowest things you can do. That's why we call it trolling, like a troll under a bridge. I understand that not everybody thinks that. I also understand they've raised $24,000. So that tells you how many people disagree with me. But I'm not tearing anything up. I'm just speaking and telling you what I think. Here's the real story. These two sisters aren't martyrs. They're not freedom fighters. They're not standing up to tyranny. They're just running off at the mouth, and when somebody calls them on it, they go out and start asking people for money. If you think they're heroes, send them your money. I'm going to keep mine. And that's the real story.
Wherever you're getting the real story, make sure you subscribe and follow. I'll see you tomorrow.
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. Parenting gets easier as kids get older. They can grab their own snacks and even help clean up, sometimes. But what never gets easier? Teaching them about money. Kids won't truly learn to manage money until they get hands-on experience. And now that's where Greenlight comes in. Greenlight is a debit card and money app for families with games and a chores feature. Kids learn to connect hard work with rewards. My life would have been so much easier if I had Greenlight for my kids first. Greenlight is the #1 family finance and safety app, trusted by millions of families. Don't wait to teach your kids real-world money skills. Start your risk-free Greenlight trial today at greenlight.com/Phil. That's greenlight.com/Phil to get started. greenlight.com/Phil.